Dustin Poirier spent years building a reputation as one of the most respected fighters in MMA. But now, just months after stepping away from the sport, he's been battling alcohol addiction and finds himself at the center of a legal controversy that has fans genuinely concerned, and the story behind it may be more troubling than most people realize. Let me catch you up. It was Father's Day. Earlier in the day, Dustin had reposted a Happy Father's Day post. His wife shared with her followers on Instagram, showing him with his two children, everyone all smiles. By evening, the picture looked very different. The former UFC interim lightweight champion was arrested on Father's Day in Georgia on a charge of public drunkenness. The 37-year-old, who retired in July 2025, was booked at 6:38 p.m. and released just after 10 p.m. that same evening. The mugshot dropped. It spread everywhere, and within hours, the MMA world started reacting, and not quietly. Colby Covington, the former UFC fighter and longtime rival of Poirier, was the loudest voice on the pile-on. Nothing says role model and family man like being arrested for public intoxication. At 37 years old, at 6:38 p.m. on Father's Day, Covington said sarcastically. He punctuated his message saying, "Cheers to you, Dustin," before advertising a beer company. That's Covington. Never one to let a moment go without squeezing every drop of petty from it. But not everyone was using it as a weapon. Ben Askren came through with a completely different read on the situation. He posted on X that Poirier was having a good time at the airport and had been wrestling some of his friends. Askren even put out footage to back it up. Poirier horsing around, looking like a guy who had one too many beers. On a holiday weekend, not some kind of monster. Then there was the body cam footage. That's what made this more than just gossip. Video released by the Atlanta Police Department to TMZ showed Poirier challenging an airport employee after he was removed from a flight, saying, "I'll fight you right now." At a later moment, the employee threatened to use a taser on him. He was eventually put into handcuffs without a physical confrontation. Witnesses told authorities Poirier appeared intoxicated and had begun play wrestling with another man at an airport bar. So there was a sequence to it: bar, wrestling removed from a flight, confrontation at the gate, handcuffs. That's a long chain of events that didn't happen out of nowhere. According to Clayton County court records, Poirier was arrested for a misdemeanor public drunk offense. In Georgia, a conviction for public drunkenness can carry a penalty of up to 1 year in jail and/or a fine of up to $1,000. Now, Dustin Poirier facing up to a year in jail, even as a technical possibility, is a heavy sentence for a man who spent the better part of 2 decades building himself into one of the most respected figures the sport has ever seen. The retired UFC star reportedly made a court appearance the following morning, and the morning after the arrest is when he broke his silence. 2 words, 5 words to be exact. He posted on Instagram, "Love you all. I'm working on myself." Then on Tuesday, the day the body cam footage went wide, and the world got to watch the whole scene play out in detail, he posted again. This time, he went further. He wrote, "I'm at the point where I need some help. Walking away from fighting hasn't been easy on me, and alcohol isn't the answer. It has ruined my father's life, and I will not allow it to ruin mine. My family deserve me at 100%. I'm trying to do everything I can to get my mind right and take the right next steps." That sentence right there, "It has ruined my father's life," is not a throwaway line. That's a man revealing something deeply personal. And to understand the full weight of what's happening to Dustin Poirier right now, you have to go back, way back. Before the octagon, before the title shots, before the paychecks. You have to go back to the north side of Lafayette, Louisiana. Dustin Poirier was born in Lafayette, Louisiana, and is of Cajun heritage. His parents split up when he was around 5 years old. He attended Northside High School for a short time, but dropped out in the 9th grade because of repeatedly getting into trouble and street fights. That's the foundation. Broken home before he was old enough to understand what that meant. A school system he couldn't fit into, streets that kept pulling him into conflict. And a father who, as we now know, was losing his own war with alcohol. A war that Dustin watched up close as a kid and swore he would never lose himself. Part of Dustin's fighter spirit is in his blood. Both his father and grandfather were boxers. It also comes from the tight-knit, blue-collar community he grew up in, where his mother ran a foster home out of their house while raising him and his 2 siblings. So the picture is this: a boy whose dad boxes and drinks, whose mom is housing strangers' children while raising her own, whose neighborhood runs on oilfield grit and hard labor. He grew up on the north side of town, where oilfield and labor jobs dominated, where you worked for everything you got, and nothing was given to you. Growing up around hard work was just normal to him, and eventually it pulled him and his wife, Jolie, to move back to Lafayette from South Florida in 2016 after the birth of their daughter. As a kid, fighting earned him no rewards. It instead landed him in boot camp and detention centers, neither of which could break his natural pull toward combat. That pull was actually a lifeline, because without fighting, Dustin Poirier could have become a very different story. The north side of Lafayette in the late 1990s and early 2000s was not a forgiving environment. You either found a direction or you didn't. Some of the people he grew up around didn't make it out. Fighting was his direction, and once he found it, he committed to it like it was the only thing keeping him alive. Because in a real sense, it was. Poirier turned professional in 2009, quickly compiling a record of 7-0, competing mostly in regional promotions across his native Louisiana and the southern United States. Glimpses of his early MMA career in Louisiana are depicted in the documentary Fightville. The UFC came calling shortly after, and what followed was one of the most remarkable career arcs in the history of the lightweight division. He competed in the featherweight and lightweight divisions of the UFC, where he became an interim UFC lightweight champion. Poirier also challenged 3 times for the undisputed UFC lightweight championship and twice for the BMF title. He is considered one of the greatest lightweights of all time. He is tied with Justin Gaethje and Edson Barboza for the most Fight of the Night awards in UFC history, with 10. He's landed 161 career significant strikes, the 5th most in UFC history, including 308 in the lightweight division, which ranks 2nd in divisional history. His 11 career knockout victories are tied for the 3rd most in modern UFC history. Those are the numbers, but the numbers don't capture what Dustin Poirier meant to people. He was the man who came from nothing, gave everything inside that cage, and then gave more outside of it. In April 2018, Poirier and his wife founded the Good Fight Foundation. The resulting non-profit organized school supply drives, donated thousands of dollars to food banks, gathered car seats to give to families in need at Louisiana children's hospitals, and built a special needs accessible playground in memory of a local boy who died of a rare neurological disease. In recognition of his charitable contributions, Lafayette Mayor President Josh Guillory declared a day in 2021 to be Dustin Poirier Day in Lafayette, Louisiana, and awarded Poirier a key to the city. That's the man we're talking about. The boy from the north side of Lafayette who built something real, in the cage and out of it, which makes what came next all the more gut-wrenching. Because what nobody tells you about that kind of fighting identity is what happens when the fighting stops. Poirier faced Islam Makhachev for the UFC Lightweight Championship at UFC 302. He lost the bout via a dark choke in the 5th round. The fight earned him another Fight of the Night award and a $50,000 bonus, so close. Finished in the 5th round of a championship fight against the best pound-for-pound fighter on the planet. That loss, that kind of loss, sits differently in a fighter's chest. You don't just shake it off, you replay it. You wonder whether one more camp, one more adjustment, one more year in the gym would have been the difference. Dustin had been flirting with retirement since getting choked out by the lightweight champion, but he wasn't ready to call it yet. He wanted one more. One last shot at the thing he'd been chasing his whole career. Not the belt this time, but the right send-off. His retirement bout came against former UFC featherweight champion Max Holloway in a trilogy bout for the symbolic UFC BMF belt on July 19, 2025 at UFC 318 in his home state of Louisiana. He lost the fight by unanimous decision, and retired after the bout. Home state. That part matters. He had said before the fight to try to get one more win, to go out on top, to lay the gloves down and retire in Louisiana, where I first started training and first started fighting. He didn't get that final win, but he got the goodbye he wanted, in front of his people, in the state that made him, on the biggest stage the UFC could give him. Then the lights went out. Shortly after retirement, Poirier posted on X every day. The moment my eyes open, I've done it for 2 decades, dedicated my life to it. A part of me has died. That's not dramatic language from a fighter trying to get attention. That's a man confronting the most terrifying thing an elite athlete can face. The morning they wake up and there is nothing to train for. No camp, no opponent, no purpose sharpened into a single point. Just time. Endless. Unstructured. Suffocating time. After 14 years inside the octagon, Poirier fell only a few fights short of reaching his ultimate goal, winning the undisputed UFC lightweight championship. With time to reflect on his career, he became vocal about dealing with retirement. He previously told a fan on X how much he missed competing. He tried to stay in the ecosystem. He transitioned into an analyst role as part of Paramount Block's UFC coverage and became co-host of the Deep Waters podcast alongside Din Thomas and Jorge Masvidal, among others. He also moved toward desk work with ESPN. He said, "If I can keep doing these analyst gigs and stay on the desk and keep talking about the sport that has given me everything, given my family safety, my whole life has been dedicated to this since I was 17 years old. I would love to stay connected to it somehow. But staying connected to the sport is not the same as being in the sport." He said, "I'm never going to get those feelings again. All eyes on you, someone is trying to hurt you, and you're trying to feed your family. That's a whole different thing." And in that void, that raw, unprotected space between who he used to be and who he was still trying to become, alcohol started to move in. Before he even retired, he'd already said, "Nothing's ever going to fill that void, no matter how many businesses I have, no matter how many things keep me busy outside that. I don't think anything's ever going to fill that void of preparing to fight a man in front of the world." He knew. He said it out loud. And then it happened anyway. The arrest didn't appear out of nowhere. In the months between retirement and that Father's Day in Atlanta, there were signs, spoken clearly, publicly, by Dustin Poirier himself. In November 2025, just months after retiring, he posted cryptically about soul-searching and making changes, later clarifying in the comments that he was committing to sobriety. During an interview, Poirier provided context for that decision. That interview was with Ariel Helwani in January 2026. In an open and honest interview, Poirier explained that alcohol had been a battle for him in retirement. "I had retired and had so much time on my hands, and I'm always battling something in my mind," he told Helwani. He unpacked the mechanics of it, how the structure of a fighter's life is the very thing that keeps demons at bay, and how the moment that structure collapses, those demons find the cracks. "I've always drank alcohol growing up, but it was celebratory. Vacation, get-togethers, things like that. Now I'm retired, and I'm sitting at home, and I can have a drink every day. I don't have to wake up and run miles. I don't have to wake up and go to the gym or be somewhere. I just wanted to pull back from drinking." Back in January, he admitted in that interview with Helwani that while he did not have a drinking problem and had recently completed a 40-day sobriety challenge, being newly retired was causing him to consume more alcohol than he wanted. 40 days sober. He got there. He was trying. He was talking about it publicly, which takes a kind of courage that most people won't give him credit for. This is a man whose identity was built on toughness, on being the person who takes the hit and keeps going. Admitting that retirement is breaking you, that the absence of fighting is an open wound, that alcohol is the bandage you keep reaching for, that costs something. He detailed how the lack of discipline in his retired life, which was ever present during his MMA career, had helped keep him on the right path. The discipline wasn't optional when he was fighting, it was survival. You show up to the gym or you get knocked out in front of millions. That's a very clear feedback loop. Retirement removes that loop entirely. And then, just days before the arrest, he sat down with Full Send MMA and said something that now reads like a warning signal nobody caught in time. He said, "I'm trying to navigate it, bro. Some days I'm great. Some days I'm not so good. If I'm not working towards something or trying to better my family, I'm a danger to myself. I'm a danger to myself." He said those exact words. Days before Father's Day, days before Atlanta, he had detailed how the lack of discipline in his retired life, which was ever present during his MMA career, had helped keep him on the right path. But when that discipline is gone, when the alarm doesn't go off at 5 a.m. anymore, when nobody is waiting for you at the gym, when your purpose is no longer razor sharp, the things you used to manage in the margins of a structured life start to take up more and more space. And there's another layer here, one that connects all the way back to Lafayette, back to the broken home, back to the father whose footsteps he never wanted to follow. Because when Dustin wrote on Instagram after the arrest that alcohol has ruined my father's life and I will not allow it to ruin mine, he wasn't just writing a sentence. He was staring down a generational pattern he has watched destroy someone he loves. He knows exactly what this road looks like if he stays on it. He has seen it up close for his entire life. That's a level of motivation to change that most people never have. And it's also a level of pressure that most people never understand. Fighting his father's ghost on top of his own demons at 37, in the full glare of a global audience. The arrest came less than a year after Poirier announced he was pursuing sobriety, following his retirement from mixed martial arts. That timeline matters. This isn't a story about a man who never tried. It's a story about a man who tried, who completed a 40-day sobriety stretch, who talked openly about the pull of alcohol, who said in his own words that he needed to pull back, and then had a day that unraveled anyway. Body cam footage of the incident was released, and it was ugly, as Poirier appeared intoxicated and threatened a police officer before he was arrested. He was later released, but his mugshot went online, as did the arrest video, making it a tough couple of days. But what happened in the aftermath is the most important part of this whole story. He didn't hide. He didn't have his PR team put out a carefully crafted non-apology. He didn't claim he was misrepresented or that the footage told a different story. He went on Instagram, directly to his audience, and he said the thing that is hardest for any fighter to say, "I need help." Poirier wrote, "I'm at the point where I need some help. Walking away from fighting hasn't been easy on me, and alcohol isn't the answer. It has ruined my father's life, and I will not allow it to ruin mine. My family deserve me at 100%. I'm trying to do everything I can to get my mind right and take the right next steps." Poirier and his wife, Jolie, have a daughter and an infant son. They welcomed the boy in November 2025. Just months before the arrest, he's a new father again. He's staring at a baby boy who is going to grow up watching his dad navigate this. And he knows, because he lived it, exactly what it looks like when a father loses that fight. The MMA community has largely rallied behind him. The sport has seen enough of these stories to know that the transition out of elite competition is not a soft landing. Poirier retired with a 30-10 record, losing 4 of his final 6 fights against some of the toughest competition in the world. Despite a rocky finish to his career, he was a beloved fighter who was always up to bring excitement to the cage. For someone who has lived and breathed fighting and fought in such an exciting style, the decision to retire was not an easy one. The incident appears to have served as a critical wake-up call for the Diamond. There's also the matter of the post-retirement life he was building. The businesses, the foundation, the media work. Following his retirement, Poirier returned to Lafayette, where he lives with his wife and their 2 children. He said he planned to stay involved in the Good Fight Foundation, the charity he and Jolie founded to support causes in Lafayette. The nonprofit raises money by auctioning off memorabilia from his career. He also planned to keep growing businesses like his hot sauce brand and was considering investing in additional residential properties. That's a man who was building something, a real post-fighting life. The broadcast desk, the foundation, the businesses. the family. He wasn't sitting in a dark room doing nothing. He was trying to build a new identity, but identity doesn't get rebuilt on a timeline. It takes time, and in the gap between who you were and who you're becoming, the old habits are waiting. His rematches and trilogy bouts against Conor McGregor. Ranked among the highest-selling pay-per-view events in UFC history, UFC 257 generated approximately 16 million buys, while UFC 264 drew around 18 million. He reportedly earned $1 million for UFC 257 and $10 million for UFC 264, the latter marking the largest payday of his career. So the financial ruin narrative doesn't fit here. This is not a story about a broken-down fighter who spent all his money. This is a story about a man with every material resource he needs who is still struggling because money doesn't fill the void Dustin Poirier described. Fame doesn't fill it. Business ventures don't fill it. Nothing fills it the way the Octagon did. That's what he told us before any of this happened. That's what makes his situation so human and so hard to watch. What happens to men whose entire identity is built around controlled violence, around the discipline of training, the clarity of purpose, the electric certainty of competition? When all of that disappears at once, some find peace. Some find new directions that scratch the same itch, and some find themselves at an airport bar on Father's Day, starting arguments with strangers and ending up in handcuffs. The arrest is a chapter, it's not the ending. As of now, UFC CEO Dana White and the promotion haven't publicly commented on Poirier's arrest. The court process is still unfolding. The real work, the kind you can't do in a gym and can't win by knockout, is just beginning. Dustin Poirier fought his whole career for a championship belt he never got. He built a charity from scratch in his hometown. He came out of a broken home on the north side of Lafayette and became a man his community celebrated with a key to the city. He has the tools to fight this too. He's shown it before. The 40-day sobriety stretch, the public honesty, the willingness to say I need help when most fighters would rather take a beating than admit any kind of weakness. The question now is whether the hardest fight of his life, the one with no referee, no crowd, no fight purse on the other side, is one he can win. And if his whole career is any indication of who Dustin Poirier is, you